Hi Power Appers, this is Brian Knight from Pragmatic Works, and in today's video, this fourth video in our series, we're going to walk through how do we enter data into a Power page. So stay tuned. Welcome back. In our previous videos, we went ahead and created our site for Power Pages. We worked through creating our schema and then seeing the data in a Power Page. Well, now we're ready to enter brand new data in a Power Page and walk through some of the security hurdles we're going to see along the way. We're also going to walk through how do I assign you, the user, as the user who created the record automatically. So those are our two pieces we're going to do today. Actually, it's a pretty robust example. And then we'll work through next an advanced form in our next video as well, where we get even more goodies as part of that also. So let's take a look at what we have here so far. Now, so far, if I go to make.powerapps.com, there we go. I'll go to my solutions and I'll select the solution that we created earlier. This solution's called, make sure you're in the right environment first of all. I'm in my June events environment. And then I'll walk through going over to my project coordination, under solutions, my project management solution. Now we have a few things we're going to tweak here first. The first thing we're going to tweak is we want to create a specialty form for our end users so they're not going to have to see, hey, has this project been accepted or not? They shouldn't be able to accept their own project, right? So we're going to create a specialty form for this user to enter data. Then we're going to put that form into the page, and then we'll go through and actually fix our security after that. So let's take a look at the first step first. So our first step we want to do is we'll go into our tables and go to our proposal table. Once we do that, we're going to hit the forms area by drilling in and going to forms. You can also do it from here. Either way, it does the same thing. And once we have our form open, let's open up the main form. Now in my case, it's the third one, but in your case, it might be very different. So I'll select the word that says information as my main form. Now, whatever you see on this form is what's going to turn and translate into on a Power App portal or a Power page also. Sorry, this new name is getting me here. So as we do that, as we make changes here, it will replicate to all the other environments. Model-driven apps, Power Portals, and also Power Pages. So let's take a look at what we're going to do next. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and take the existing application form. I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to create a special portal version of this. So I'll call this just a portal proposal. You call it whatever you want though, because you're the only one that's going to see this. Go ahead and save that, and then we're going to tweak this form to be exactly what we want. Keep in mind again, so there's a few things we're going to tweak here. We don't want to be able to see the files that you're uploading. We don't want to be able to see the status of that proposal as well. We can see the high-level status, but we should not be able to see inside of this, let you set your own status. So that's where we go back here again. It's now refreshing my form now. It takes a few seconds to open this up after you clone. And I'm going to go ahead and take out my timeline control. You should not be able to see that. So I'm going to select it and hit delete. Or you can also hit in the white area right here and just make it a one-column tab to expand this how you wish. Next, we're going to look at this form here in the middle and figure out what columns do we not need. Well, owner is going to be hidden anyway, so that's not a big deal. Applicant's fine. Payment structure is, I'm going to remove that for the time being. We'll show that somewhere else instead. And proposal status, nope. Proposal cost base, you should not be able to see that. That's a base column. Again, we'll hide the base columns. And the vendor is fine. I'll move that right below applicant. So we'll go ahead and set these automatically based on this. So we'll have the project you're proposing, bidding on, the cost you're bidding on. I'll move owner up here, but it doesn't really matter. I moved it up to the top right, but it's going to be hidden on our form anyways. On the right, you'll see it right here on the right. There's my owner column up top right. Again, I just dragged it until it lit up here, and that's how I moved it up there. But not really important because it's not going to show up in the portal anyways, or on the page anyways. So once you're all done, save it and publish it. Now, we'll also do some extra work here. We're not going to need this applicant and vendor column eventually anyways. So I'll show you how to automatically set that. And once it automatically sets, it will stamp any record that we create with our vendor number, our name, as well as the applicant also. So both of those will be automatic. So let's go ahead and publish this. Now again, nobody can see what we're doing until we actually hit the publish button next. So now that we've done this, we'll go over to our Power page and add that to our Power page next. So as you can see, my publishing is now done. I'll hit the back button a few times to get back, but ultimately what I'm going to do is go back to the tab here, my Power page, and I will go and hit the edit button once the page comes open. So I went to make.powerpages.microsoft.com and hit the edit button to get back where you just saw me a moment ago. We're going to create a new page for the form, and then once we create the new page, we'll drop the form in there. So for this Your Bids, I'm going to hit the 3 dot next to that and add a new subpage. When I do that, here we go. All right. Well, did I just delete my page? I may have just deleted my page by accident. Oops. All right, so let me go ahead and, oh, there it is. I just moved it as a subpage. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and just drag that out. There we go. Move it underneath home. There we go. And I'll just actually move that away from a subpage. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to add a new subpage. Let's try this again. So I'll hit the little 3 dot here, and I'll add a new subpage. There we go. There we go. Now it's going to ask me the questions I want to ask. So I can make this either a page, which will have a better layout, or I'll start from blank. I want to start from blank so you can kind of see the view from the ground up. You can also create your own templates here under custom layouts and use that throughout the page as well. So let's call this new proposal, and we'll hit the add button. Give it a few seconds. It's going to create this page as a subpage underneath Your Bids. Now you'll see you have 2 pages now underneath this. All right, again, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. The top section will be a text label. There we go. And I'll call this just, create a new proposal. Call it whatever you want. I'll make that an H1 also. And then I'll create my next page right underneath it. I can add a section right underneath it, or I can put it as a brand new section. Probably makes sense in my case, just from a size perspective and a spacing perspective, to create that right underneath here. I'll create a new form right underneath it. Next, it's going to create a brand new form to enter our data. So we'll select New Form, we'll hit the magnifying glass and look for our proposal table. Now again, when I do this, if you don't see proposal, hit the sync button up in the top right to get the latest metadata out of your Dataverse system. After you do that, hit the drop-down box. There is the portal the portal proposal you just created. Again, if you don't see that, hit sync. Lastly, we'll give it a name. So I'll call Create New Portal Proposal, and we're done. Now, a few things we want to do before we hit the actually OK button. We can always change this later. So if I did happen to hit OK, we can always get back here. First thing is under Data, we'll see a list of, do we want to create a record or insert a record or see it view only? We'll keep it as create a record. We can also go to advanced configurations by hitting this portal management tool, and we'll come back there in a moment. On submit, what do you want to show? Well, I'm going to route you, versus showing a success message, I'm going to route you to another web page. So I'll say redirect to a web page, and the web page I want to route you to is Your Bids. Lastly, let's turn off this CAPTCHA stuff. This CAPTCHA was invented by the devil somewhere in the 1700s, and it's still bludgeoning us today. So we'll go ahead and take that off and hit OK. All right, our proposal form is now complete. Now, if you ever want to get back there again, just hover over it and hit Form, and it will take you back here again where you can alter settings at this point. Okay? So you'll see quite a few magnifying glasses here. We have our project cost. Let's hit the preview button and see what errors we're going to get. Now, intentionally, I'm going to create some errors here, and we're going to walk through those errors now. So again, as we do this, it is going to refresh our cache, purge and refresh the cache, and come back with the new metadata on our page. So when I look at this now, we can see our project. All right, let's look at all the projects we have. Hit the magnifying glass. Uh-oh, no permissions to view the record. We'll also have the same thing for vendor and for applicant. So we have all three of those issues that we're seeing right here. So we have to fix our permissions for all three of these tables here to make sure, because these are all stored in different tables. The project is, of course, our project table. Whoa, little caps there. Project table. Our vendor table is going to be the account table. And the applicant one is going to be the contact table. Those are the three tables we need to create permissions for. So let's go back over to our designer again. And I'm going to get rid of my face so you can see the whole screen here. So once we got back from the designer now we're ready to go through and actually create the permissions. You'll notice that when I hover over this form, there's a permission button right here. This is going to make it a little bit easier to allow you to kind of edit these permissions. So there's no permissions right now for this, but if I hit new permission, there we go. It's showing us our proposal one now, but that's not what I necessarily want to create a permission for. So you'll notice there's a few things that I want to do here. So this is actually opening up the permission I've already done. I'm going to cancel this, and if I hit permissions again, it's showing the old stuff here. So what we can do around this, at least for the current iteration of the product, this may be fixed by the time you watch this video. What I'm hoping you're seeing is new permission and actually where it fills it in for you. But this is the same one I created in video 2. So the workaround for that is to go over to our setup on the left side, and we're looking for table permissions, and we're going to see the permission that you've already created already, and then one that was created by the system. Again, this may be only a temporary thing we have to do, but for the time of the recording of this video, we do have to go out here, at least the time of this video. They're making fast improvements very rapidly in this product, but it is in its early stages. So now that we've done that, let's hit new permission, and let's start with our account table first. So I'll type in account, and this is going to be contact-account. This will be contact security on the account table. My table is account. There it is. My access type is I only want you to see only your own company. So I'm going to specify contact access there. And then the relationship type is going to be the contact. I think it's going to be the account, this one right here, this contact right here. So when I select this, this is going to create a relationship between account and contact. That relationship already exists. You may have seen that earlier when I had the app open earlier and I was in Brian Knight. You saw this is the relationship we're tapping into right now, that account name there. Okay, so we selected that. What access do you have? Well, you can read your account, and you can also do append and append to. Again, append and append to allows you to connect to that relationship and see those as well. Get in our face, you can see all that here. So read, append, and append to, and if you want them to be able to edit their own account or delete, we can also specify that. So I'll hit save and hit yes. Oh, one mistake I made here. Go back to it if you've made the same mistake I did. I forgot to add the role. So I'm going to hit add role, and I'll pick authenticated users. Now you can also create your own role if you wanted to as well. So I'll hit save, and now it should give me a better permission set. You can overlap these roles also, so you might have one called vendor manager, or one called client, and so on and so on. So this will fix our ability to see the vendors now. So when I hit preview again, I'm going to go back over to the vendor now and see what vendors we can actually see. Give it a few seconds. There we go. Hit vendor, and there is our Crappy Cars Inc., which is the only vendor I can see, even though I might have more than those vendors in my portal. But this is because of my permissions, I can only see the one. Now we can change this also to be a drop-down box, and I'll show you how to do that later as well. All right, so our next step, we have the first security done. Now let's get the project one done. So we'll go ahead and hit the new permission button, and I'll call this one again. I'll call this one global-project. So you can see all projects that are available for you to bid on. That's the goal of this next one. So again, global rights mean you can see everything. Contact level rights mean you can only see your own records. Account access means you can only see your records and anything else in your company that you're associated with. And again, lastly, self-access is where you can only see your own profile. So we're going to do global this time because it is a system table or a organizational table. No security needs to be added to this. So it is a project table, and I'm going to allow you to read data and associate your own records with that data, append and append to. Again, I'll add the security role of authenticated users. Let me get rid of my face again so you can see all that. There we go. And then I'll hit save. Okay, now I'm going to add that one. So now that should power. Again, you can't see your portal until you refresh. So I have not refreshed here. If I refresh my browser, it's not going to be good enough. See, I don't have permissions. So I need to do that re-preview button again to see that. But let's do the applicant next. So that's our last step here. I'll create one more permission right there. This is going to be self-applicant, or contact if you want. So I'm going to allow you to see your own record, your own contact record. So for contact, I'm going to give you self rights. I'm going to add the role of authenticated users. You've already seen this a few times. Let's go ahead and give you full rights to do whatever you wish to that account. At a minimum, you won't read, append, and append to, and then whatever else you want to do is up to you. And then I'll hit save. Now that we've done that, we should be able to hit the preview button, look on the desktop. One little shortcut here also, by the way, when I hit preview, it's going to go to the home page every time. However, if I go to pages and then go to my create new proposal and then hit preview, it will always route me to the correct page at that point. So it'll go to this one instead. All right, so now that we've done that, we should now be able, once it refreshes, there it goes, I should be able to see projects. There we go, perfect. I should be able to see, put a value on that. I should be able to see vendors. There's my vendor right there. And I should be able to see applicants. There's my applicant right there. When I hit submit, I should then see route over to the your bids page, and I see my second bid here also. So success! We got all that piece working. Now our next goal is to automate some of these pieces. We already know that you're logged in, so why am I asking for your credentials again, have you select yourself? So my goal is to make it where you automatically fill in your name and your company. There's two ways we can do that. Let's take a look at those now. One way is we can preload that data in the Dropdown box. Secondarily, we can just save that data automatically. So to do that, we have to go to the Advanced Center. So again, I'm going to go over to the little gearbox, the little dot right here, and hit Portal Management. This allows me to see all the advanced settings behind this. So in my case, if I go to my basic form, this is the basic form we just created. Create new portal responses here. If I select that, you'll notice a few things in this advanced portal we can do. You can also find this app, which is the portal management app, at make.powerapps.com. And it's a good idea to keep both of these apps open at both times. So I always keep open my portal management app, my regular application, which shows me all the data, as well as the portal designer. So those are the three apps I typically have open in different tabs. And I kind of hop back and forth between those. So for my basic form, you'll see under the on success where it's going to route you to, it's going to redirect you to the your bids page. Under form options, we can see CAPTCHAs turned off, but we can also turn on all the settings to where it makes it where everything has to be required fields. Lastly, you can put things like instructions in here. Under additional settings, we'll go through and we're going to turn on some other goodness here. We'll later show you in our next video in the series how do we do file uploads also. But as I scroll down, we can see what add attachment file. We'll cover that later. But what I want right now is associate current portal user. When I check this box here under additional settings, I'll then hit the drop-down box here, and I want to put your ID, your information, into the applicant table, into the applicant column in this proposals table. So again, what this is doing now is it's basically whenever I hit save, it's going to automatically put your login information, your contact record, into the applicant column of the proposal table. So I don't need to ask for it anymore. So when I do that, I can hit now save button. And there's some additional things I can do also while I'm here. I can also go to related right here, and you'll see basic form metadata. When I select this, I now, you see I have it twice here, either way. I'm used to the advanced form metadata where they do kind of hide it under related. But in your case, you should see it under basic form metadata. These two are the exact same things, by the way. So I'm going to hit new basic form metadata. So again, when I do this, You'll see I have two exactly the same up here, but Basic Form Metadata allows you to override anything inside the portal. So go ahead and hit the new Basic Form Metadata button right here. All right, after you do that, you can override any setting you wish, any column that you wish, as well as inject your own data automatically into that column. So in my case, the column I want to alter is going to be an attribute. Attribute equals columns, but you can also alter notes, sections, tabs, all those kind of goodies. We're going to do attribute for this video. The attribute I want to overwrite is going to be the vendor column. And for the vendor column, I'm going to default that to your own information. I can also put a certain label on here. Now I can do two things here. I can make it a drop-down box right here by changing it to where it is a drop-down box instead of a rating. Okay, so you have those kind of goodies. You can also do like extra option sets and matrices and all sorts of cool things. If you wanted to make that into a drop-down box though, you'll see it says lookup as a drop-down. That's how I could have made that drop-down box versus a magnifying glass. Additionally, if I scroll down a little more, we have an option here. Do I want to pre-populate your vendor's name, or do I not even want to ask it? Do I just want to go ahead and set the value on save? I'm going to set the value on save, and I'm going to remove those two columns next. So the type is going to be the current portal user, but I can also use this to default to today's date, for example. My value, right, so my from attribute right here will be the drop-down box, and notice we'll see a list of all the columns that are in that contact table, one of which is called company name, if I can find that. All right. Okay, looking for a company name. There it is. Company name is going to provide what is the contact's company name they're associated with. So I'll select company name. After I do that, it's going to automatically put that into the box. This is the same thing as when I did in the other tab when I said on save your information into that applicant in that case. So now that we've done that, we can also do other goodies here, but we're going to go ahead and hit save. You can also put instructions and all sorts of overrides you can do. We'll save and close, and there's our metadata. A few things to note. Make sure you do not hit, if you want to delete this, make sure you do not hit that delete button. Instead, check the little radio box there, and then you'll see delete here instead. So if you delete from up top, it will delete your entire form and all the metadata around that form as well. So keep it simple here. All right, now that we've done that, we can remove the vendor and the applicant columns. To do that, I'll go back to my solution, open up my portal form we already had open, and we're going to remove those two columns. That should simplify things quite a bit on save. All right, so waiting for that to open up now. So again, we'll go over to our form here. We'll select, let me zoom in a little closer so you guys can see that. I'll remove applicant, which is our contact table, and vendor, which is our account table. Now that we have that, we can save it and publish it. All right, there we go. Now that's publishing, we'll go ahead and go back over to our Power App. I'm going to hit sync to get the latest metadata out. And when I hit sync, we should see vendor and an applicant disappear. So we'll hit sync right here. We'll see our screen refresh, and our preview will refresh also. Give it a few seconds to do that. And there it is. See how much simpler the form is now? So when I hit preview and desktop, we hope to see, there we go, give it a few seconds here. It will direct me over here. I'll pick a project that I'm bidding on, Brian's new Lambo, and the cost is going to be $500,000, whatever. And I'll hit submit. Now, once we do that, that will get added to my project list right here. And notice the gap right here. This is because I have two sections versus one section. So I can eliminate that by moving this up to the above section, and that will eliminate that gap for me. We can also look in the CSS on the style sheets or inside the HTML itself to make changes there as well. We can then also go in here, because I have delete rights, we can also delete records by hitting that delete. There we go. And as we do this, we can also see the same records inside of here under proposals. We can see that we have Brian's new Lambo already right here as well. Now the last thing I may want to do, let me get rid of that. It's my videos. Let me get rid of that. All right. The last thing we may want to do is I also want to turn this, this option that you saw right here into a drop-down box as well. So let me go back over to my advanced properties. See if you guys can remember how to do this. Pause me for a second and see if you can remember how to do this. The hint I'll give you is it's going to be in the advanced editor, and that advanced editor is going to be under portal management. So open up portal management, the same tab we had open before, and go to basic forms. Now pause me now and see if you're able to turn that into a drop-down box. That was the project drop-down box. All right, hopefully you're back now, and hopefully you have a successful way of doing it. Otherwise, I'm gonna hit the new button up here. I'll get rid of my little checkbox, hit the new button, and again, my goal is to turn the project into a drop-down box. So it's gonna be an attribute. Okay, the attribute I care about is project. Okay, looking for project right there. Next, I'm going to change the control style to a render as a drop-down box. There we go. I can also put some instructions on this as well. So if I say yes to this, add instructions, it is going to put above the field some instructions. I can also read those from the description of the field when we were typing that description into the earlier in the solution. So in the solution, when I was creating the column originally, let me show you what I mean. So in the solution over here, when I was creating that column, okay, go back over here again, and under project here, oh, not project, excuse me, when I was looking at proposal and columns and looking at my project column, there it is. You'll notice that there's a description over here on the right side. It's a good practice to go ahead and put in descriptions if you want to right here. So if I put my description here, this is the description that's going to be shown to our users if we turn that on. That's one option. The second option is we can just type it in. So if I go back to my tab here and just type in over here where you see description, I don't want to use that column. Instead, I'll type in my own description. Choose a project you're bidding on, like that. And when I hit save and close, that description will now be on top of that field also. All right, we have two of these guys. Hopefully that's what you chose to do also. Our last step we have to do is we want to hit the preview button to get the latest metadata. And that preview can go out and get the latest metadata, route us over to here, and we should go over to my bids. There we go. Oh, look at that. There's our drop-down box. I misspelled some terms here, as you can see. We can fix that easily, though. I'll pick Devon's new HQ. I'll put a new proposal in here, hit submit, and we now have our third record, for me at least. And additionally, there's one more thing that is kind of snazzy we can do. That snazzy piece is to go back over to our Your Bids page. Now, on this Your Bids page, we have this list right here. And when I select list, I want to go under data and say, yes, you can create a new record right from this list. The page I'm going to route you to is a web page, and it's going to be the new proposal page. I'll hit OK and give it a few seconds, and then I'll go ahead and hit the preview button right here and the desktop button right there. So now we should see the My Proposals page, and we'll see a new Create button up top. That Create button just routes me right over to the same page you saw before, where I can go ahead and do my bid, hit submit, and then we're back over here again. And it looks like, oh, I typed S's where no data validation does work. I need numbers there, it's a currency. All right, the other thing to note here is as we do this, look in here, our vendor is here, as well as our applicant is here. It registered that because we have those two settings now set. All right, so we have now created an end-to-end form. There's a lot more to this, as you can imagine. And we'll be showing you more throughout the series. Our next step is to create things like file attachments and also advanced forms where we can have a wizard that walks your customer, or your vendor in this case, through that. All right, if you have any questions, you can reach me out to me at bknight@pragmaticworks.com. You can also find on the description of this video our website where we do things like virtual mentoring to help you get unstuck if you ever get stuck. We also help users by creating hackathons where we can do what we've been seeing in this video, but with your own example instead. We also do public boot camps and classes as well at Pragmatic Works. Thank you so much for watching this video in our series, our fourth video in our series, and stay tuned for our next video. Please do subscribe and ring the bell to find out when that next video is going to be. Thanks so much.